In this very brief exercise, I'm going to give you a sense for how to adjust the lighting of this scene. And with my 3D layer still selected here in the Layers panel, I'll double-click on its thumbnail to bring up the 3D panel. And I'll click on Infinite Light 1. It's the only light that's turned on, of course. And we're going to manipulate it by dropping down to this fourth tool, the Light Rotate tool. And make sure you have the Light Rotate tool selected, because we don't need to move the light. We really can't move the light because it's an infinite light source. It's very, very far away. Instead, we're just going to rotate its placement. You could work from the widget if you want to. In my opinion, where this exercise is concerned, the widget is more of a fine-tuning adjustment tool. Instead, what we're going to do is actually drag inside of the image window. We want to take our shadows and send them the opposite direction. So we need to twist our light source all the way around. And I'm going to do that using this kind of gesture. I just want you to see it before I do it. I'm going to move my cursor from about here around in a half circle to about there inside of the 3. So let's see if it works out. I'll go ahead and drag like so, because the strange thing about this is we're employing a 2D gesture in order to invoke a 3D modification. This looks about right, however, so I'll go ahead and release, and sure enough, I got my shadows going the other direction, and we have a slight drop off to the shadows. They're not super huge shadows, in other words. I'm going to go ahead and click inside the scene in order to interrupt that ray tracing, and I'm assuming your ray tracing is still turned on as well if you're working along with me. Now I'm just going to make a slight adjustment to the blue Z-axis by dragging it over to the left a little bit, and we end up getting this effect here. Now let's imagine that you're having a hard time with this maneuver and you're not getting the same results as me. Well, I'm going to go ahead and click in a scene in order to interrupt the render. The great news is that you can save off your lights and re-employ them later. So imagine, for example, that you had gotten the scene exactly the way you want it, and then you decide you have to edit the text. After positioning the text the way we have, then you'd have to relight it. However, if you went ahead and saved those lights, you could reapply the lights, and that's going to save you time. And here's how it works. You go up to the 3D panel flyout menu, and you choose Save Lights Preset. And that's not only going to save Infinite Light 1 here, but it'll also go ahead and save off the lights that are turned off. Just in case I had made some changes to those lights that I was fond of, they'll still be there if I want to revisit them. So I've already done that in advance for you. If you want to go ahead and add my lights to your current lighting, which is not what you want to do, you choose this command, Add Lights Preset. In order to get rid of your lights and replace them with mine, you choose Replace Lights Presets. And that's what I suggest you do if you're having problems. Then, inside the O2 Reposé folder, you'll find a file called whitetypelight.p3l. That's a light file for Photoshop. Go ahead and click the load button in order to load it up, and you'll get the exact same lighting as I have on screen, of course assuming that your objects are in the same physical location. And that is how you go about adjusting, saving, and loading lights here inside Photoshop.